Kashmir now, where in Handwara, an MLA who was visiting a government school found the school locked and made the locals break the lock. The MLA, Engineer Rashid, then taught the students himself. The school has been locked since the start of March, as none of the teachers would come to the school. Over 50 students of this school would go to school every day only to find it locked. The MLA's act then forced the Education Department to act. The Deputy CEO has been suspended and an inquiry has now been initiated.
छोटा दर्द हाजी हमारी कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी का एक दूर उफ्तादा गाँव है। वहाँ पे स्कूल 8-10 दिन से बंद था। आज हम जब वहाँ पे गए तो 40-50 बच्चे वहाँ पे वेट कर रहे थे, लेकिन कोई उस्ताद नहीं था। वजीर तालीम से बात की, कमिश्नर साहब से बात की और स्कूल का ताला लोगों के समेत हमने तोड़ डाला। उसमें हमारा कोई मकसद इसके अलावा नहीं था कि जो उस्ताद किराम हैं उनको अपनी गलती का एहसास दिलाया जाए। तो सरकार ने मामले का नोटिस लेते हुए कमिश्नर सेक्रेटरी एजुकेशन ने जो डिप्टी सीईओ कुपवारा हैं, जिनकी लापरवाही से सारा कुछ हुआ, उनको सस्पेंड किया।
Let's go across now to my colleague Mir Fareed, who's joining me live on the broadcast. Now, Fareed, we've spoken often about the education system. In fact, just earlier this month, we spoke about how a number of schools were at the receiving end, unfortunately, the kind of violence that we've seen in the valley in particular. And this particular school has been shut from the beginning of March, with no teachers turning up for the last 50 days.
That's right, Viren. In fact, education sector seems to be the casualty this way or that way. Initially, as you rightly said, we showed to our viewers how the situation in the Kashmir Valley, the bad situation is having its direct impact on the education sector. Hardly at the session started when there were shutdowns, be it separatist shutdown calls or the curfew imposed by the government. It were the students who were suffering. But that's just one side of the picture. You also have schools like one in Rajwar. Now, this story is from the far-flung area of Rajwar in Handwara, where, believe it or not, from the last 15 days, ever since the session started, these young kids, primary students, used to come to the school every day, 45 to 50 of them with their bags, with the hope of really finding their teachers, with the hope that school may open. But from the very first day, the teachers were missing. That did not really break their resolve. Every day they were coming, and finally it took the local MLA, Engineer Rashid, who went to this place, and then he broke open the school, the lock in fact, and taught these students, these kids for a day. His staff also intervened, but that, it seems, this incident acted as the tonic wherein it woke up the education department from its slumber. The deputy CEO has been suspended and teachers have been dispatched to the school. Not that they weren't teachers, but they were not coming to the school, and this really is one such incident. Imagine there are hundreds of schools in far-flung areas, while the government does show its sense of duty when it comes to schools in the cities, because they are kind of showpieces. They're showcased to show that all is well with the education department. But when you go to these far-flung areas, you will find many such examples where either teachers are absent, or there are hundreds of students, you only have a few teachers for them, or these students are forced to study in tin sheds in the name of school. So there are all kinds of incidents, all kinds of bad incidents that keep on happening as far as the education sector is concerned. This is the latest one. The CEO, deputy CEO, has been suspended, and now teachers have been dispatched. So finally these students will have some relief. Shockingly, each day of this month they have been going to the school with the hope of getting some education, but unfortunately there was no teacher there. Though in this case action has happened, we hope that in many such schools which are running like this in the far-flung areas, similar action is taken, and at least a basic right of education provided to these poor children. Viren?
Well, absolutely. And Fareed, just one more question that I want to pose to you is the fact that at this point in time they've suspended the CEO here of education, but it's got to be more than that, because you can't have a situation where this is happening unless there are other people who are also in the know and are either complicit in this or are doing nothing about it.
Well, why does it? Why should it take the local MLA, or in other cases our stories to wake up the government? It is their job. It is their job. They get huge funds for this, and especially if we talk of education in rural areas, they always make it a point that every time they come up with their figures, they say that they've spent this lot of money on upgrading infrastructure, on providing teachers, on ensuring that these poor kids get their right to education and get good education. But on the other hand, if we look at these examples, the ground reality is totally different. So the question is, why does it always take a story of a news channel or a paper or local MLA in this case to wake up the education department? They should do it themselves. It's their job. Now, this is one such incident where now imagine there are so many schools in these far-flung areas. What would be their plight? Now, we at Mirror now have made it a campaign. In fact, we have been traveling to various areas. In some places, the infrastructure in shambles. In other places, there are few teachers for hundreds of students. And in this shocking case, there are teachers, but they're not doing their job. They're not coming to the school. Imagine these poor little kids, primary kids, every day with their bag, with the hope of getting education. They come to the school just to see the school locked and the teachers missing. So this is absolutely shocking, and an overhaul of the education system is required, and especially if you talk of the rural areas.
Absolutely, really sad state of affairs. We continue to report on those stories right from the valley because the children there, the people there deserve it. Thanks, Fareed, for joining us.